Alright guys, it's that time of the year officially. It is none other than time for March Madness. The tournament is about to start. I already got my bracket in. I actually made a video on that, so go ahead and check that out when you get done with this video. But the thing about March Madness is, of course, we love the upsets. We love to see who's going to win the championship. We love the close games. We love all of that, the competition and all. But if you're a guy like me, you're going to be trying to see what these prospects are really about. Now, every prospect doesn't make the tournament, but who has made the tournament, I want to see what they're really about, and I want to give you about 10 prospects that you should keep an eye on in this tournament. And the first one is none other than Darren Peterson. Now, the thing about Darren Peterson, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not a lot of bad you can say about him in terms of his actual game. I mean, if we're talking about the way he can score the ball, if we're talking about the way he can get to the basket, if we're talking about just his overall talent, Darren Peterson is one of those ones. He's undoubtedly one of those ones, and one of the best prospects that we have ever seen, one of the best modern guard prospects that we have ever seen. He's getting compared to like a Kobe, a Kawhi, a Devin Booker. He's really like that. He's an elite scorer, and I actually think he has some upside doing other things outside of scoring. But in that Kansas offense, it seems like the way that it is set up, his main goal is really just to score. They come off of screens, cut, do whatever you got to do with the ball in your hands, score. He doesn't really look for true opportunities, but I think that's more so of a situation thing than actually him. But the big knock on him is his availability and his motor. Like, does he really care about playing the game? He's been out a multitude of times this season. Quad injury, ankle injury, hamstring injury. Has even sat out entire second halves. But the thing is, these had times where you've questioned his motor. Like, maybe he's not injured. Maybe he just genuinely does not give a singular care in the world about basketball. And I know a lot of people are comparing this like to Ant and what Ant was going through around this time. Well, not around this time, but in the draft process. But the thing about Anthony Edwards that was different was Ant just was like, I like football. I don't really watch basketball like that. Football is my passion, But Ant was a really good player, and he worked really hard. And some of that was really unfair bias used against him. With Darren Peterson, I feel like there's more concrete stuff. There are serious concerns, not just about his health, because if he isn't healthy, then I guess we prefer that. But now we're starting to get into kind of like your caring your want to for the game. That can kind of affect everything, because in the long term, Darren Peterson can really be one of the best players that we've ever seen. I truly believe he has all-time potential. It's like, if you don't care about the game and you're not, and now I have heard his work ethic is pretty good from Bill Self himself and other people who's been around him, but if we have to question whether you really want to play, you can't be one of those ones that we look at to draft and lead our franchise. Like, yeah, we know how talented you are, but we know plenty of talented players who eventually, because of one reason or another, they weren't able to really reach up to their full potential. And I'm afraid that's going to happen with Darren Peterson. But I'm telling you right now, if Darren Peterson can have a March to remember, if he can have a March to remember, just 1 or 2 games, putting up like 30, and putting everything on the floor, showcasing some scoring prowess, showcasing some motor, showcasing some of that defensive stuff as well, everything's going to go out the window. Everything bad about him that's going to be said about him is going to go out the window, because now he was probably like a lock for the number 1 overall pick at one point. Now a lot of people don't really see him as the number 1 overall pick. They're taking AJ Debonsa, Cam Boozer. But I'm telling you, Darren Peterson really can come out and just show everyone who he really is. Oh my goodness, it's going to get really scary. It's going to get really scary. Now, the next guy I want to highlight is none other than Nate Ament. Now, the thing about Nate Ament is like a very interesting case as a player. When it comes to Nate Ament, you look at kind of the intangibles and the idea of him: 6'9", wing, shoot, dribble, pass. He can score. He was, before really the season had even begun, was in the top 5 conversations, up there with Caleb Wilson. Not necessarily in that top 3 tier, but the type of conversation he was in was like, yo, this is a dude that could go top 5 if the season goes right for him. But so far this season, he's had to deal with injuries, and his play when he's on the court has been overall inconsistent. I mean, he came back like at the start of the SEC tournament and put up like 27 and had some good shooting splits, but that has not been him the entire season. Also, I've checked out some film. Looks like bro really struggles to dribble a little bit, and he cannot finish at the rim consistently. The thing for him is, A, get healthy, but just be consistent. He's kind of in the same lane with Darren Peterson, where it's like, listen, honestly, I think he's been so inconsistent throughout the season to where I don't know how much higher his draft stock could get. But if he puts together like 1 or 2 solid games, I promise you he will be okay. But my biggest concern with him isn't really his health. Like, okay, yeah, health is a concern, availability is best ability, cool. It's more so when he's on there, he just does not look like the guy who people were projecting to be in the top 5, like coming to the season. And I mean, with that type of hype, especially in this class, you had top 5 hype in this class. It seems like more so of his draft projection is just more so about his potential, which is not a bad thing, but it seems like it's just more so about his potential than who he is actually as a player. And to me, that's just a little bit concerning. I'm not the biggest Nathan Man guy, but shoot, maybe he can show me some in this tournament. Now, next is a guy who has been on fire for at least the past couple of weeks, is none other than Braden Berries. I mean, he's playing like one of the best guards or players in the nation as of recently, helping Arizona get to the Big 12 championship and win the Big 12 championship. He's been playing phenomenal, right? Like, wait, no. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they win. But he's been playing phenomenal all throughout the Big 12 tournament, and he kind of started off the season kind of slow. But if you want to kind of get to know him as a prospect, Braden Berries is kind of a guy that's like, he's physical, very hard-nosed. He's a slasher. He's pretty nice with the ball in his hands in terms of pick and roll and creating stuff. At the start of the season, he was kind of getting overshadowed by Koa Pete, with the hype behind Koa Pete and Jaden Bradley. And Jaden Bradley ended up finishing as Big 12 Player of the Year, so don't get it messed up. Them boys is nice. But recently, he's kind of taken that step. And he's been a big part for Arizona, who is the number 2 team in the nation behind Duke and a number 1 seed. And a lot of that, especially recently, has been because Braden Berries has been at the head of the defense. I mean, the head of this team. He's a great defender. He's a 3-and-D type of guy as well. Not like the Carter Bryants of the world. I feel like he can handle the ball. He does better with the ball in his hands than the Carter Bryant. That's kind of more him being more of a true guard. But Braden Berries is definitely one of those ones. And I think, honestly, with the right tournament, I'm already seeing him being mocked in like top 10, 12. That seems like his kind of range. I feel like the highest I can see him going is like 8. The lowest I can see him going is like 12. Late lottery type of deal. If he has, especially if Arizona wins, which, I mean, look, go watch the bracket video, see how far I have Arizona going. But if he has one of those tournaments to where he's performing at a high level every game, and we're not looking at a Jaden Bradley, they're not looking at a Koa Pete, they're looking at Braden Berries as the guy that's like, hey, he's going to lead us to the promised land. He could sneak up to that 6 to 8 range. People could look at him and be like, oh, Keaton Wagler or Braden Berries? I don't think he can get above Darius Acuff at this point. Hell no. But I think they can be like Keaton Wagler or Braden Berries. You might have to say Braden. That's just the type of things I can see coming, just depending if he can show more so of his offensive capabilities, whether it be scoring the ball, playmaking, the pick and roll stuff I talked about a little bit. If he can showcase some of that stuff, oh, Braden Berries, the world is freaking yours. But that's another guy I think y'all should keep an eye on. And luckily, Arizona should have a longer run in the tournament because they're so freaking good. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is none other than Tyler Nickel. Now, here's the thing. Let me tell you why. Like I said, I have not been paying too much attention to college basketball, but I saw Tyler Nickel, and I actually saw his teammate Duke Miles play in the in the SEC championship against Arkansas. And Duke Miles, he really intrigued me, but since we're on Tyler Nickel, we can talk about him more. Tyler Nickel, he can shoot the ball. He's a guy, he's not going to be taking like lottery or nothing like that. Like, he's a senior, but he's a 6'7" guy who can shoot the ball. He can move without the ball. They definitely were drawing up some stuff for him to do. I wouldn't say like he's going to be this great defender or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you right now, that boy can put the ball in the basket. And I feel like with the way he gets his shots off, if he can kind of lean into that niche when it comes to the NBA, bro, Tyler Nickel can be one of those guys that we really look at. He can be one of those guys that we are really viewing as a pretty elite role player. And I mean, shooting is at an all-time premium nowadays in the NBA. So if Tyler Nickel can sit up here and be the shooter off the bench that a lot of guys are looking to, especially with the release, I mean, that boy, he shoots like it's quick. It comes out of his hand quick, and he's making it a lot of the times. Him more so than his teammate that I'm about to get into, I could kind of see him translating better to the NBA, and I think he's a steal. I think this is a sleeper, one of the gems for me personally that I am looking at, and of course, have to go to his teammate next, Duke Miles. Duke Miles, he's a graduate guy. Honestly, I don't project him to be much, honestly, at the next level, but he's just going to be a very fun watch. Honestly, I'm telling you, I'm going to tell everybody right now, this dude is going to be really fun to watch, just depending on how far Vanderbilt goes, obviously. But he's a guy like one of the best pick and roll players in the nation. He is very nice at just making decisions, reading the defense, reading body language, and just setting up like looks for his teammates. He can convert at the rim a lot, especially in half court, and half court matters more in these types of games. I'm not gonna lie, bro, I'm a big fan of him, especially when he's got like he's very shifty, a little stop and start type of game to him that can get to the rim, manipulate defenders. Duke Miles is nice. He's a guy I'm looking at because I just think he's going to be a fun watch. And I just had to mention him. But he's going to get overshadowed by his teammate, Tyler Tanner. Now, here's the thing. Like, I'm not anti-Tyler Tanner or anything like that. I mean, he's pretty nice, bro. All SEC first team, All-America. All-America, all honorable mention. Like, bro, he's definitely one of those ones. He's projecting to be, I want to say like top 20-ish pick in the draft. Rightfully so. The only thing that concerns me is his size. But the dude knows what to do with the ball in his hands. He take care of the ball, as you can see right here. And in high school, he was one of the best players in the state of Tennessee. But I don't know. I think him and Duke Miles in that backcourt, they're going to be so key for Vanderbilt. And I just really like their game, personally. He didn't have the best game versus Arkansas, but of course, man, one game doesn't define a player. You got to look at more what they're doing. So, yeah, this is another guy I'm looking at. And now for the dude who's been booming, like Metro. Not funny? Okay. Not for one of the dudes who's just been, like, going pretty, like, viral on Twitter, I guess you could say, because of his insane assist-to-turnover ratio, which is, like, 53-2 or something like that. Donovan Dent is a guy who, like, he's traveled a little bit, right? Like, I don't believe he started off at UCLA. Yeah. He transferred to UCLA this past year after he was at the University of New Mexico, and he was Mountain West Player of the Year, actually. The previous year, was able to put up points, was able to get assists, and he's done the same thing at UCLA. You could argue he is the best passer and playmaker in this entire country, including guys like Braden Smith, including guys like a Duke Miles, including whoever you want to choose. Donovan is up there with them. One of the best. And he's the guy you should just look at just to see how he manipulate defenses and play makes. I don't really think he is able to show off that scoring prowess as much throughout the season because, like, his power four, you know, like, it's more mouths to feed. But in the tournament, UCLA is a team that could definitely make a run. And if they make a run, Donovan Dent is going to be the guy who is probably going to be at the forefront of it. He's experienced. You can see in the way he plays. He's able to read defenses, and he takes care of the ball. And I don't think y'all understand how important and how rare it is for a guard that takes care of the ball and does not turn it over. That is a premium that is not very common in college basketball. So for Donovan Dent to be able to do that, especially at such a high level, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's one thing I'll be looking at. Now, he does not really take threes like that. He only attempted like 66 threes, but he shot at a high percentage, right? But you just want to see someone who takes some more threes, so hopefully he can show some more of that scoring aggressiveness. But it just depends on how he translates to the next level. I don't think he's going to be a star or anything like that, but depending on how he plays, you can kind of start to imagine what his role will be as we get to the next level. So Donovan Dent, definitely a guy I'll be watching very closely this upcoming tournament. Now, next is another guy who has kind of been he's had a very streaky season. He's been out with injuries, and when he came back from injuries, he didn't look too great. But Mikal Brown Jr., I mean, over the summer, bro, if you were in the room and people talked about Mikal Brown Jr., you would have thought Mikal Brown Jr. was like the baddest thing walking, probably a top 5 prospect in this draft. Not the time he had that type of hype, kind of like Nate Ament, but like I said, throughout the season, he struggled with injuries. He's coming off a back injury right now. That's why he missed the ACC tournament. And the biggest thing for him, well, to get an idea of his profile as a player, very good shot creator, very nice shooter. I think he'll project really well as a shooter at the next level. He's a floor general, read the floor type of guy. Had like 45, which is like the highest from a freshman. I mean, it's highest since Cooper Flag a year, LOL, but like debuts or something like that. That was really crazy that he did this past season. Now, only thing that kind of worries me about him, not turnovers. He turns the ball over. He's a guard. As I just said with Donovan Dent, that's a rare thing that does not happen very often. But the thing about him is just the injuries, and he has the size. I just want to see him put some games together. It took him a while to kind of get acclimated, but once he got acclimated, the first time he got injured, he was actually like pretty nice. But this time, it's a bit different. It's the tournament. You're coming fresh out of injury. Are you going to be kind of shaky? What are you going to look like when you come back is the main thing with Mikal Brown Jr. Hopefully he looks like pretty good. And I don't know how far Louisville is going to go, but hopefully he looks pretty good and he can just showcase the shooting is real, his ability with the ball in his hands is real. And he can be that top guard, lead guard of a team at the next level. But a back injury is kind of scary. I ain't gonna cap to you guys. I'm not gonna lie. A back injury, his game isn't predicated on athleticism or anything like that, which is good. But any type of back injuries, man, I get kind of scared. And he's fallen all the way from being in that top 5 range to being like 10, 8 to 10-ish, which is still cool, like, because his potential is through the roof. He's 6'6" with a 6'5" wingspan, but 6'5" with a 6'6" wingspan. But just some things to look out for, to where the tournament is definitely going to be his make or break, point blank period. And finally, 2 guys I just wanted to highlight: Joseph Pinion. Joseph Pinion for South Florida, and Isaiah Nelson. These are 2 guys to where I'm telling you, if South Florida makes a run, it's going to be because this dude can shoot. Boy, this boy can shoot. Joseph Pinion can shoot with the best of them. He was at Arkansas beforehand, transferred here. He's finally starting to get like a real kind of role carved out for himself. He's shooting 38%. And if he can get hot, oh my goodness. A shooter, a guard who can shoot, it's another premium. It's another thing a lot of teams are going to be looking for. And I honestly think, I ain't gonna cap, the vibes I'm getting from him, he's gonna have a big March. If he has a big March, he can shoot up to like late first, second. He's not gonna be lottery or nothing crazy like that, but he is definitely another guy to watch out for, who could definitely rise on boards over the season. I mean, over the course of March Madness, however long South Florida lasts. The other guy is Isaiah Nelson. Isaiah Nelson, shout out Marietta. He isn't like a dude who, he's an energy guy, great offensive rebounder, obviously 6'10", 218, great size. He's a dog. He's simply a dog. You want to see what the dog like? A guy who has that dog in him, really good at defensively, has a really good motor. And yeah, I mean, that's Isaiah. He's another guy who, like, shoot, if he can just be a dog and defend well and rebound well for South Florida, man, watch out for South Florida, for real. Because these 2 guys, between the shooter, Joseph Pinion, and Isaiah Nelson, kind of being the, I guess you could say, leader of this team, whatever, they're going to be nice. But, I mean, these are just the 10 prospects I think you should look at. If I left any of them out, or any ones that you think I should have included out, y'all just let me know down below in the comments. Make sure you leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video as well. We running it up all March Madness. But that's all I got for now, and until next time, peace.